Why play Sett top? Well, he's an amazing team fighter, he brings tons of CC, he's naturally very tanky, and he's a manaless champion. However, he lacks engage and can get kited, and later in the game he's not a great duelist relying on team fighting. Sett's first passive is he regenerates a portion of his missing health per second. His second passive is his basic attacks alternate between left punches and right punches. Sett's left punch is a normal basic attack. His right punch, however, has bonus attack range, attacks 8 times faster than his left punch, and deals additional damage. Sett's Q is an auto-attack reset, which empowers his next 2 attacks to gain bonus range and deal additional damage. In addition, upon using it, he'll gain a burst of movement speed towards enemy champions. Sett's W has a passive, which stores damage taken as grit. Sett's W is a cone skill shot, which grants himself a shield. Enemies hit by the cone are damaged, and enemies hit in the center take true damage. This ability deals more damage, and Sett gets a larger shield the more grit he has stored, and using this ability consumes all the grit. Sett's E is a rectangular skill shot, which pulls enemies towards him from both sides of him. Enemies hit are damaged and slowed. However, if he pulls at least one enemy in from both sides, they're stunned instead. Sett's ultimate is a point and click ability which can be used on enemy champions. This causes Sett to dash with them before dunking them on the floor, dealing damage in a large circle and slowing all enemies hit. In addition, enemies hit by the center of this ability take even more damage. For combos, your go-to will be to use E on 2 enemies to stun them into both your attacks. Auto attack reset with your Q into 2 more attacks and then attack away until you can use W for massive damage. And to start team fights, grab their tank and ultimate it onto their team. Follow up with E to stun multiple targets into attacking twice into your Q reset and more attacks. Once again, using W when you have a good amount of grit saved up. For matchups, Sett is great into champions he can easily engage on and delete with his W. And he can struggle into champions who can hard bully him early or kite him. For runes, take this. Having double attacks procs Conqueror incredibly fast. For build order, start Blade and Pot into a Stride Breaker and Tier 2 boots. After this, a Hull Breaker and Sterax are great pickups before finishing a build with any of these as needed. For skill order, start E then Q then W before maxing Q then W then E, taking ult whenever you can. For summoner spells, take Flash and Teleport. Starting the game, as the top laner, your main focus is going to be on farming hard and taking good trades. Sett is amazing at using their enemies' minions against them, as if you pull the enemy champion towards you with your E, while pulling a minion from the other side, you will stun that enemy champion. This will allow you to attack twice into your Q reset for tons of damage. And they can now choose to either attack back, knowing they're going to give you a ton of grit and potentially take even more damage, or simply walk away and lose the trade. When you hit level 6, you now have a great power spike to hit them away from safety. So if you can ever get onto them, ult them away from their tower and keep punching away. Entering the mid game, you want to take your tower as soon as possible, which Sett is great at with his 2 attacks. From here, push the wave out as far as you can safely before grouping up with your team. Entering late game team fights, you want to play as your team's frontline. From here, you can either dunk their frontline into their backline for massive damage and disruption, or use your E and ultimate to protect your backline. Keep spamming out damage with your auto attacks and Qs, and when you're max grit, your W will deal unacceptable damage.